Okay. Good evening. We are live. Welcome to another Radical Republicans show. I'll change my camera a little bit. Welcome. We're going to kill some of the music in the background. All right. We got my man, Don Bro, in the house. So welcome to another week. Down a little bit. What's up, bro?
Sorry about
How you
that.
doing, man?
I'm good.
Hey, that's good, man. I'm running, man, doing stuff. Hold on. Doing stuff, man, out here running a little behind, man. So how was your week, man?
Good. So far, I mean, I will work 2 days.
Oh yeah, that's right. Holiday and all, right?
Yeah.
No?
So
Yeah.
today was my Wednesday. I guess
Okay.
it's Wednesday anyway, but I didn't have a Monday.
Oh, right. Exactly. I hear that, man. So have a good holiday, a good Labor Day and whatnot.
Yeah.
I hear you, man. Waiting on Madison to pop in. Hopefully Madison to pop in. We're supposed to be having a guest today. We're supposed to be having Christie Hutcherson today. Christie is I would say one of the foremost badasses on the border. Okay. Christie, she takes, people to the border to see firsthand exactly what the border is about, and everything. So, but I know she was in travel mode today, so she may not make it in, but I am waiting for her to make it, but I'm trying to find out if she's going to make it or not. But Christie, she's the founder for Women Fighting for America. Okay. Women's Fighting for America is who's going to be in with us today. But we'll see, because she may have been stuck in the airport or something, and I'm trying to locate her now. But anyway, we'll just keep moving though. So let's just talk about what happened, I guess, this past week, man, real quick. We won't be long tonight. I think we might just be on for 30 minutes to an hour, as usual tonight. But this, I guess the biggest thing is that you and I and people like us are now enemy of the state. We're enemy of the state, according to Joe Biden. But of course, according to Joe Biden, I'm not black. So, I'm not sure what to make of that. But, it seems like to me that was a war call. It was a war call against, patriot Americans.
If it's any consolation, I'm not black either.
Yeah, I know. Well, he might say you're not white if you don't know the difference between you and Trump, but you never know, man. Joe Biden he's an idiot, he's an imbecile, and just the picture. I mean, for people that I'm hoping everyone has seen, the photos, right? I'm not going to even pull them up right now, but I'm sure everyone has seen the photos, and if they haven't seen the photos, it's something to behold, because that was not America. He did it at in Philadelphia, where Independence Hall, where they signed the Declaration of Independence. And I'm sure whoever told him to do that picked that location to desecrate that location with the satanic lights, with the satanic message that he gave America. Hey, Mary. Yeah, he definitely walked that back. Said he was just talking about MAGA for Congress, because what he thought about is that, he just insulted 84 million Americans.
Right.
And by the way, I'm suspended on Twitter again. But before I got suspended today off of Twitter, I made a post and I said, you know what, you just pissed off 84 million Americans. You don't have enough F-15s. You just don't have enough F-15s to really come after 84 million Americans, that love this country, that believe in making America great again, because anyone with a sense and with a brain know that we are not the violent ones. We are not the ones that burnt up cities. We're not the ones that fought cops. We're not the ones that, placed cops behind locked doors and tried to set the buildings on fire to kill them. We're not the ones that burnt down neighborhoods. We're not the ones that burnt up and totally destroyed DC on the 17th in 2017, right after the inauguration. So, but okay. Yeah, so it's all good though. So, that's just me though. And I have co-hosts on here, and what I say is not necessarily my co-host beliefs, and I'm not gonna put words in their mouth. They speak for themselves. So, that's why we're independent up here. So just you can take for granted what I say, for me, not for anyone else on this panel or any other of my co-hosts, because like I said, they can speak for themselves.
The other thing that's been big in the news is they're actually pushing Newsom to run for president. You know how big a disaster that would be? I mean, I think it would be a disaster for the Democratic Party. And I know damn well it would be a disaster for the nation if he got elected.
Well, I mean, well, you see what's going on in California. They're trying to do. They're trying to get him out of California, and I mean, yeah, it would definitely be a big disaster, But I mean, this is what this country have come down to: run elite after elite, push the family. He's family with Nancy Pelosi. I mean, it just seems like the oligarchs. We live in a monarchy. I wouldn't say oligarchy, but it seems like a monarchy, because these families continue to try to rule the country. I mean, we were under Clintons for 8 years. We were under the Bushes for, shoot, what, 16 years under the Bushes.
Yeah.
They did one and two both do 2 terms? Okay, one just did 1 term.
Yeah, senior just did 1 term.
Senior did 1 term. Okay, so that's 12 years under a monarchy. You add 8, so that's 20 years under monarchy, because I'm sure the Clintons and Bushes and all of them are related, somehow. That's normally how it works. And well, I was just reading Governor Ron DeSantis just texted me, but so you want blackouts because that's how you get blackouts. Yeah, well, yeah, definitely, Molly. That's definitely, Mary. That's definitely how you get blackouts, because California, it's so crazy, because he sent out, he want people to turn down the air conditioners, turn off the lights, and want people to scale back the use of energy, but yet they're trying to push electric cars. So because to conserve power, because they're having rolling blackouts. So how can a governor, try to bring in electric cars when they can't even keep up with the electricity capacity that they have now? But where are they going to charge these cars at? Oh, and by the way, you need fuel for the charging stations. You need fossil fuels for the charging stations.
Right.
So I mean, so it's just really insane, what's going on in this country right now. And also, the way that they're going after Trump. I think they're going to perp walk him. I think they're going to arrest him. I think they really want to start a civil war, even though it's going to be probably them that started. They'll dress up Antifa and BLM or whoever as MAGA and go out and start burning up things. Anyone, like I said, with any sense, know that MAGA and conservatives do not go around destroying where we live. We don't destroy buildings. We don't burn the flag. We don't desecrate what America is, right. And for this clown Biden to say, we don't respect the Constitution. Well, who the hell you think upholds the Constitution? Because it damn sure isn't the Democrats or Joe Biden. Well, because what they're doing to Trump is unconstitutional, number one. Number two, for a president to go on a war footing. And that's what that was. That was war footing and a war message, telling the American people that we're basically enemy of the state. The MAGA conservatives, not all Americans, but specifically, this is what Hitler did to the Jews. This is what, Stalin did. This is what Mao did, and And that, like I said, you go back to that picture and that setting, very satanic.
Well, and he's trying to rile up his base at the same time as he's trying to win over the never Trumpers, because he finally came out and he actually called it a republic during that speech, but he didn't do the whispering thing, and he shouted the whole speech. And I think he's trying to get them riled up. In reality, what he's doing is he's losing moderates. He's
Yeah.
losing moderates. He's losing independents, and he's gonna, I mean, there's no way in hell he got 81 million votes last time. He'll
Right.
be lucky to get 21 million votes next time. Uh, but
If that.
we were talking about Newsom and the electric cars in California and all that. So 12% of the American population lives in California. California accounts for 35% of the electric cars on the road.
Right.
And yet they're asking people to stop using electricity. But they want everybody to have an electric car. It doesn't make sense. Newsom put out a request for people to use their air conditioners in the morning when there's less people using the electricity.
And when you really don't need air conditioning in the morning out in California, you need it
Right,
in the daytime, in the middle of the day, towards the evening when it's 95, 100 degrees. He's an idiot. He's a bona
right.
fide idiot.
In the afternoon and evening, he's asked them to refrain from using any large appliances. Man,
Right.
I'd turn on if I was stuck out there, I'd turn on every damn appliance I own.
Absolutely. And Christy did just text me. She apologizes people for she just landed, a flight got delayed and she won't make it to her interview site. And Christy, and she doesn't give her location because Christy, like I say, she if you can go to wffa.win, okay, wffa.win, and check out and see who Christie Hutcherson is. Christie Hutcherson has a price on her head. She has a bounty on her head from the drug cartels, so she can't really give out her locations and where she's going to be and her interview locations and things of that nature, because of the work that she does on the border, filming, bringing to light everything that is going on at the border. And I'm talking about the stuff that you don't see on the news and that you don't. She's down there live doing it, and she takes individuals down there so they can see it for themselves as well. Um, so we're going to reschedule Christy maybe next week. I know I have a guest for next week lined up, a trauma specialist, and meaning trauma meaning mental, because a lot of people have gone through trauma, especially these last 2 years of COVID. We're talking about children, we're talking about adults that have maybe in any kind of trauma like childhood trauma, maybe it's PTSD type trauma. She's a trauma specialist, and she has a program to help people make it through that trauma. So we'll have her on next week, probably for half an hour. Maybe we do Christy on the back half, a back hour of that. So I'll just try to book Christy for next week as well. So maybe we have two guests next week. How about that? Okay. So I'm just hitting her back real quick because she's like on the move. On the move. Okay, so we'll try to get her next week. Yeah, definitely, Molly, the hottest part of the day. And after the day, I got 12 more hours. I got 12 hours that I'm suspended on Facebook. I'll be a free man again, at least probably for another hour. I'm going to try to make it to next week so where we can stream live on Facebook as well, because that's still where most of the people reside and most people live. I'm not sure. I don't believe I can do StreamYard on Getter yet, so we can stream live on Getter. Uh, I'm gonna try to set that up to where we can do the show on Getter, and do a live stream. But we'll check it out. Because I want to do some guests. And then what we'll do next week also, Don, we're gonna take calls. we're gonna take callers. We're gonna start taking callers next week when we have a crowd in the house. So
Nice.
and yeah. So I think that'll be interesting.
So
So we'll have the live comments and the live callers.
yeah, so I don't know. I'm not sure because we're banned on this one, banned on that one, whatever. I'm not sure uh, how many platforms we're on. But if you're watching us, whether it's on YouTube or Rumble or StreamYard, whatever you're watching us on, if you could throw a comment up there just to let us know, because unless it's on, I think, Facebook, we can't see how many viewers are on at any given time. So throw us a message up, let us know you're watching. If if you watch this after the fact and you can't see it live, um, shoot us a message. I don't have social media except a personal Instagram account. But you can find Rome on Twitter and shoot him a message.
Maybe,
Yeah, maybe.
maybe. I just got
Uh,
suspended today, so
yeah, but
I
somehow or
pissed
another,
off somebody.
let us know that you're watching.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
definitely, and definitely on YouTube. When we have some people, we may end up changing the night. I know Wednesdays at 8 o'clock. It's normally pretty cool. It's Hump Day, but it's just hard to get the word out for different um, for a platform as this, when you're suspended off multiple platforms. But we do
yeah,
do Rumble. We're definitely, and you can actually hear the podcast. So if you want to share the podcast, and if you're listening on YouTube, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and share the video too, because people actually watch it after the fact. And you
right.
can, like I said, we're on Anchor, we're on Spotify, we're on many podcast channels, so we can check us out on the podcast. And if you have to hear it later, and on Rumble, and we're live on Rumble right now too. Rumble don't have a good chat. You can't chat on Rumble, too well. I mean, you can actually when people are watching, you can actually chat on Rumble. So Rumble is actually pretty cool too. We just have to get people moved over to Rumble to where we live, to where we can do that. So, you know, um, and we'll push that out more next week when we get back to the platform where most of the people are still stuck on, because they're still stuck on Facebook pretty much. And Facebook has the biggest censorship, than anything. So,
So
um,
other than on YouTube, I know you can do it on YouTube, but on other platforms, do we have a way to see how many times it's been viewed?
yes, yes, on all of them. Yeah, we cool. Yeah. Oh, Truth have a video option? Yeah, I don't know, Mally. I don't know if they have a video option yet. I'll check into that too. But yeah, once we go back, I can go on YouTube, I can go on Facebook, I can go on Rumble, and I can see how many views we got. Yeah, yeah, definitely we can do
Okay.
that. So, and I check that after the show, or a couple of days after the show, I go back and see, how many people are watching. But and so we're getting up on election season, and so we're starting to hear a lot of rumbling, on whether if we're going to take back the House, and if we're going to take the Senate. Some people were talking we're going to take 80 seats. I hear John Fredericks. I hear Steve Bannon say we're going to take 80 seats. Now I hear we may only take 5 seats, and and things like that, because I've read where the establishment Republicans are working against against the MAGA Republicans. They're buying ads and helping the Democrats, you know, um, go up against their candidate. They're trying to put the America First candidates out, like I got put out. I got $5 million spent against me by both parties on, total by the Democrats, by the establishment Republicans, to make sure that I was not in the race to go up against the Democrat. And these are establishment, Republicans that are doing this. They did it to Sarah Palin with ranked choice voting. They put her out with that. And a lot of rhinos and a lot of establishment Republicans are pushing this ranked choice voting to help their establishment candidates. And it's a shame what's going on right now in
Yeah.
the party.
So if it, if it was the 1980s, 1990s, early 90s, something like that, I could understand you not liking a candidate and voting the other way. But given our current situation, and I'm going to say this, but given our current situation, I don't care for Mitch McConnell. Don't like the man. I've followed him since he was a local politician because I'm from his district. But given today's current situation, if you vote for a Democrat simply because you are a never Trumper, you are a fucking dumbass. Period. There's no excuse. I don't want to hear any argument. There's no but. You're a dumbass. What? I just got yelled at from the other room.
What'd she say?
I think she used my middle name. So,
oh, you got the middle name used?
Well, she's watching on the other TV. But yeah, I mean, there's no excuse for it. And the thing that, I mean, I've heard all the same things you've heard, but the one thing I've heard that gives me more hope than anything is we have never seen Pelosi with a backup plan. She's always known she was going to win. She's always known she was going to be speaker. She's always known that she was safe. Okay, safe. But all of a sudden, she's vying for a job as ambassador to Italy in the event that they get pushed out in the House.
Oh, is that her backup plan? I didn't know that.
She's trying to get appointed as the ambassador to Italy as a backup plan. Right. And I mean, I don't blame her. I mean, what better? You got the most romantic, best food, fastest cars, beautiful countryside in the world. I mean, why not? Hell, I'd go be the ambassador to Italy if they'd let me.
Yeah, you think, and I've been there,
Yeah.
I've been to Italy and, a few times, and, it's not a bad place. Hey, but look, so, I want to share something because here's some things that is going on. Let's talk about this jab for a minute.
Yeah.
And I know YouTube is probably going to take, I don't know, they may not, but I believe they're going to take this down. So I'm going to share my screen on something because it's starting to, and like we said, we set it on, well, Molly, I do have it set for explicit, so you might hear some explicit language on this.
Look, Madison here tonight. Somebody's got to pick up slack.
Yeah, exactly, right. And so, a lot of these injuries are coming out. I mean, it's hard to, hide the deaths and the injuries from these jabs.
Right.
And in the UK, and I don't know why they haven't done this here. Well, I know why they have not done it here because Pfizer owns everyone. But the UK government stops vaccinating 5 to 11-year-olds. Now, we just started this process here in our country of jabbing 5 to 12-year-olds, and Mally being the medical professional, correct me if I'm wrong on that. But, they've stopped vaccinating 5 to 11-year-olds in the UK. And why is this? Okay. Why is this? Because of the injuries, because of what's going on here in the UK, and they see it. So why are we doing this in the US? Why are we continuing to jab, individuals, babies, and you still have to blame the parents on this too, because there's so much information out here now that, on what's going on with the vaccines and what's going on, with the dangers of it, to where, why are these parents still jabbing their children? And so, like I said, this is just one report from the UK, but it's all over the map, in the UK,
Right.
and so, I think we're going to find out, and we are finding out because you see citizens dropping. You see insurance companies filing lawsuits against Pfizer, against Moderna, because they're having to pay out these insurance claims. They're going broke, having to pay out these early indemnity payments and payouts to these families. They have life insurance whose loved ones have been, murdered by this poison.
Right.
And it just is what it is. So, I think we really need to definitely evaluate it. What I want Trump to come out here's what I want Trump to do, because they're trying to blame it on Trump. You see how the rats are jumping the ship.
Right.
Fauci, Burks already said that they knew, that it wouldn't work. So, all the people are jumping the ship. We covered this before, but I would like to see Trump come out, since, they're, talking about warp speed. I actually read a report yesterday that warp speed, it didn't have anything to do with the speed of the vaccine. This paperwork and was already voted on and passed by Congress when Obama was in office.
Right.
So it's coming out that warp speed had really nothing to do with it. But I would really like to see him come out, and say that, um, that he was told some wrong stuff. Maybe the science is not correct. And that these shots are bad for you and stop taking them. Or something to that effect. I think he needs to come out. I think Alex Jones said it the best when Alex Jones came out. He said they're going to blame you. I had said they were going to blame him too. I put up a post, but that they're going to come out and they're going to blame him for now the clot shot. And so, um, yeah, 5 to 11. Yeah, man, 5 to 11. It's all right, Vic, and it's all good. Meeting ran over. I mean, we don't. What time does Tucker come on? Tucker come on at 8 or 9. Someone asked me. I think. Are we going head to head with Tucker, man, at 8 on Wednesdays? Or does Tucker come on at 9? I don't watch any Fox News, so I don't watch any of that stuff because they, I think have betrayed us. Fox News has become part of the elite establishment, and they are. They really only have elite, the establishment candidates on. A lot of the America First candidates don't make it on Fox, um, but so I mean, so
Uh,
maybe we're going head to
yeah,
head with head to
week,
head with Tucker.
weekdays at 8 p.m.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna have to change our time. We can't go head to head with Tucker right now. We're gonna change our time. We're gonna go 9. We're gonna move it to 9. Who is that? Hannity? Yeah, yeah, man. Nobody watches Hannity. Screw Hannity. Maybe
Mm.
we'll go head to head with Hannity. And not so much head to head with Tucker. But people watch this after the fact, so it really doesn't matter. Like I
But
said, when we get back
look,
on Facebook, we're better stream live, so we're good. It's just tough when you shadow banned from
you do,
YouTube and whatnot. But
look, you do it at 9 and go longer than an hour. You going head to head with my bedtime.
okay, well, I don't think we'll go longer than an hour. At 9 o'clock, and if not, man, we'll put you to bed and keep rolling.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll
but then
just
I'm
keep you to bed
missing
and keep
something.
rolling.
Then I'll be missing something. I can't do that.
Yeah, no, I hear you,
Yeah.
man. Facts. I gotta check and see where my buddy at, where Madison at, man. Gotta, he
I guess
probably got caught up too.
I'll stay up
Huh?
late one night a week for the people.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Let me see where Madison is, man. Hey, so you playing in your golf tournament this week?
Yeah, Saturday, and then next Saturday and Sunday.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So
Yeah, it's all
if
good. So, hey,
if I
what is Vic? 8:30. Okay, what about 8:30? Hey, that's still going head to head. Oh, yeah, because so we'll look at it. I think we may slide to 8:30 or 9, Vic. I think we may slide 30 minutes. Maybe we'll do 9 o'clock. But it depends on guests. Though. It starts to be kind of late for guests, maybe. So, 9 o'clock. They're starting to do their thing and roll down for the day too. I think it's only once a week. But like I said, once we are able to stream live on Facebook again, where most of the people hang out at, a lot of people don't hang out on YouTube. Because I don't even want to hang out on YouTube. Because they ban most of my stuff. But if we can get everybody over to Rumble, though, Rumble would be sweet. I think. I think Rumble would be pretty nice, but I mean, no, but that's about I mean, that's the thing. So, but so what else you got for us tonight, Don? Anything we can shut it down and close up in 30 because I was gonna have a guest. So, I hadn't prepared much for tonight because I anticipated on having Christy here, but she got caught up.
Right.
So, definitely she got caught up in that. So, but
Well, we need to. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So I don't have the details on this, but the person in the other room does. They came out and said in North Carolina that nurses can be held accountable for uh, COVID injuries.
just nurses, no doctors.
I don't know if it said doctors or not. She'll have to help me out on that one. Uh, but she's got all the details on that one.
I
I'd
mean,
like I'd like to get her on one night, but she'd have to wear a face mask.
you're right. Yeah, she definitely have to go on. But hey, but Madison just hit me up. Yeah, yeah, but so people signed waivers though. I
Yeah.
I went to Walgreens and asked for the insert. Of course, they didn't have the insert because they said, "Oh, it's online. You can go and you can download it online." I'm like, "No, you're supposed to be able to tell the people,
Right.
what the risk are at taking this, and you don't tell them. You just say it's online, and
Right.
they're actually accepting." I said, "Well, why don't you print it off for me? Why don't you print it off for me?" And then they say, "Okay, and you have to sign this waiver." So I said, "Okay, let me read the waiver." Well, the waiver says basically that you can't sue anybody. You can't sue anybody. Your lawyers can't sue anybody. Your family can't sue anybody. Your children, your spouse, nobody, anybody that represents you cannot sue anybody. They gave blanket, immunity to anyone that was, given this clot shot or this clot jab. So I'm I'm thinking if they reverse that in North Carolina, I would definitely love to see that and see where
It's
that
so
is. So
so the nurseerin.org posted nurses liable for patient harm carried out under physician's orders, North Carolina court rules. So if the doctor tells you to do it and you do it, you can be held liable as a nurse.
wow, wow.
And the reasoning behind that,
But no doctors. But no
probably
doctors.
no
Or
doctor.
doctors being held accountable.
But you know why? Because doctors hold uh, malpractice insurance.
Right.
Nurses don't.
Well, my wife, I had my wife have umbrella insurance because of that fact. And
Yeah.
umbrella insurance it covered her on her job, because of that fact, man. We had that, and because people do sue. When they go back and sue, they sue everybody involved, you know. And but yeah, that's amazing, that came out today. All right, cool, Vic. Wow. So I mean, because this is going to turn out to be one of the worst crimes against humanity. And they want to start blaming some people. And so they're going to go down to the lowest common person to
Right.
blame
Right.
instead of blaming
Well,
Fauci, instead of blaming the Pfizer and Moderna and Janssen and all of these makers of this drug, because the government gave them blanket immunity. These are the people that need to be held accountable.
right.
The
And
FDA, the CDC, you know what I mean?
but
The
here's the distressing thing. These people know right from wrong. They know what the mask will do and what the mask won't do. They know how to properly fit an N95. They know what the N95 is for. They know what the surgical mask is for. And none of them worked. They knew none of them would work, but they went along with it. They played ball. They knew what the trial periods were for new vaccines. They went along with it. They played ball. They knew that side effects from these, mRNA vaccines were going to be crazy. They went along with it. As much as I hate to say it, you know what? Go ahead. Reap what you sowed.
Yeah, I mean, and they are, unfortunately, some of the people are, but at least now, I would say at least now,
Vic,
I
I understand how it is. I understand how it is. I also understand that there have been times in my life where I've had to stand up for what is right and not worry about the consequences.
well, I did that when I was still active duty. I
Yeah.
had really, let me see, how many, 21 years in, I believe I had at this time, or no, I had under, because it was under retirement. I think I had 18 years in when they were, making everyone take the anthrax, all the military take the anthrax vax. And a lot of people were getting sick, man. I took 4 shots of that shit,
Yep.
and I had reactions to it. We were supposed to take 6 shots. Um, I had reactions to it, and I told them I wasn't taking anymore. And that was at the
Right.
time when it was same shit. If you don't take it, well, you're gonna be processed out. You just, whatever, blah blah blah. I'm like, well, you know what? You got to do what you got to do. I'm not taking any more of that stuff. Well, around the same time, there were a lot of injuries being reported, military wide, and like, pretty much just like, the Air Force and some of these officers are doing, with lawsuits. It went for a lawsuit, and Judge Johnson, I believe his last name was, he found that it was unconstitutional because it was that we were being forced to take once again a untested and a unauthorized vaccine. Right, it was unapproved. The anthrax vaccine was not approved as well for that. So, so it's pretty much the same thing as this COVID, stuff right now. And yeah, this definitely was that hill. This definitely was that hill. I was dying on that hill as
Yep.
well. And I mean, so but then it came out, and it stopped, and it went away. And right now, I believe there's a stay in the Air Force and a stay, I think, in the Navy, to where they can't force them to get the jab at this point. And I believe it's right, and I believe they're going to back off of it. Because it's just so many lawsuits out there right now, within the military. So, um, nurses liable. Oh, she sent. Okay, gotcha. Cool.
Look,
Okay, so but
somebody asked me today if I had heard about the fibrous materials being found in people's bloodstreams, and I just looked at them and said, "You about a year and a half too late."
yeah, about a year and a half too late, man. Right? They're just starting to report on it. Didn't we? Didn't we? Talk about this like, oh my god, probably a year ago. But,
Yep.
um, but they're just now starting to report. I know if you watch Stu Peters, Stu Peters is my boy, man. So if you watch Stu Peters has things about the shots every single night on his show. Watch Stu Peters. He comes on live on Rumble at 4 p.m. Eastern, and it's like, and he has a doctor on pretty much every day, or someone talking about, thanks Mary, talking about these clot shots every single day. There's
Yep.
poison. This was a plan, and we've been talking about it was a pandemic, way back when, like you said, about a year and a half now. You know, of our voter data, Snap didn't know. Oh well, there you go. That's what it is. Wow.
So,
Thanks, Vic.
Vic, when I say I have a wide range of friends, I have a very wide range of friends, and one of my best friends is a freaking funeral director,
It
and
has
he
been
does
involved. It
embalming.
has been verified.
He does embalming. He does, whatever they call it, where they, freaking take the body apart, and it's been verified.
What's up, Madison?
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
What's up, brother?
What's up, man? How you
Not
doing,
too
man?
much. Not
What's
too much.
happening?
How's everything going?
Yeah, man. So we're doing good, man. Right now, we're just talking about the clot shots, man, and the fibrous material, that's been found in these jabs. I'm about to try to look it up. Hey, man. So how's your day, man? School and all. After Labor Day.
Yeah, man. It's going pretty good. I got no complaints. Whatsoever.
Okay.
Our school is one of the schools that basically it's a blue ribbon school, and we disproved all the nonsense about how the COVID piece was messing up children's ability to learn. We're in the top 92% of the country insofar as academics are concerned. So,
Right. I just put a link in the chat for you, Vic. Check that out. Yeah, man. Because of the mask, especially these young kids who need to see lips move to, for language skills, just for them to be able to talk, and even, and yeah, like say elementary school kids, and even, like you say, you do middle school, right? Right now, middle
well,
school age kids.
yeah, our school is K through 8. So,
Okay.
yeah, we
Yeah,
got
and
the
so
8.
and again, the ability. So have you seen, with your kids, have you seen any lack of, like, let's say, verbal ability, or seeing them fall behind in areas, that you're associated with in your school?
Well, as you know, I'm in Southeast DC. We are 99.9% Black. Um, at our school, the principal set the culture pretty much. She does not allow excuses to be made. She demands that students respect their elders, respect their teachers. And I think that culture of discipline and structure really sets the tone insofar as the academics are concerned. So when students know that they can come to school and they are not going to be allowed to use these excuses, I can't. It is not allowed in the school. Um, Talking back is not allowed in the school. Um, just the mannerisms that you may see displayed in many other schools are just not allowed in the school. And it's not just the principals; every employee, every teacher, all the way down to the janitors. Or not down to the janitors, across to the janitors. You know, the entire school has that type of culture and that environment. So, our students do well. And no, we don't see those things that a lot of other schools are reporting.
Gotcha. Um, we're gonna bring on someone. Hold on, hey, you guys, case I'm gonna. Someone just hit me up. They might want to come on the show. I'll be back in a second.
All right. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Good. How's your week going?
Shit, it's going pretty good actually. I mean, it's been, it's long, just kind of getting back in the swing of things, but it's good. It's good to
Yeah.
be back, and it's good to be back around the kiddos and handling caseloads and talking to parents and being that positive factor
Yeah.
in a lot of people's lives. So,
Well,
you know,
our guest didn't make it tonight.
mm,
You figured out probably. Go ahead,
Yeah. She's she got delayed, man. These planes, man, with all these delays that's going on. She got delayed and she didn't make it to her interview location in time. Like I was telling them, it's Christie Hutcherson. You know her, Madison, but and since she has a bounty on her head with the cartels, her location is never given, and so she didn't have
Excuse
time to get to her interview location.
me.
So we had to just reschedule her. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. Okay. Anyone that's listening, anyone that's watching, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this link in the chat. Okay. If you want to come on the show, and you don't have to use your camera, you can just come on like a call in. We'll just use your voice. Okay. Hit that link right there and don't do the camera, just do the voice and we'll bring you on, do the microphone. And and we're going to bring in Megan is her name. And I believe she's going to tell us about some of the things that's going on with reference to what you were talking about, Madison, to where these kids are falling behind. So, okay, so we go. Megan, welcome to the show.
Hi. I'm an occupational therapist in one of the school divisions here in Hampton Roads. So my job entails working with students who have special needs. Most of them are usually young, usually preschool up to about age 7 is typically a majority of the caseload. But what we're seeing is preschoolers who are coming in who have had very little interaction, just sitting at home without the demands placed on them. So when they come in, being told no or being asked to participate in a structured activity causes them a lot of stress. And so it results in some sort of meltdown or a tantrum. So the behaviors are a little challenged right now. Also, like general education students in first grade out of that. And that's just, lack of exposure because they've been sitting, on these Chromebooks and using technology. One of my preschoolers last year who was born with pretty significant motoric challenges was masked all year long. And one of her domains was to work on communication. So motor and communication were her main, areas that she was working on. And she was in a mask pretty much all school year. She had a couple of small utterances she was starting to make, but then, she was in a mask all day. Another one of my students who was masked pretty much all year. It was quite interesting. He was about 5 or 6, but I caught him one day looking at a mirror, pulled his mask to his chin and started making faces for himself to look at his own mouth. So, just a lot of this is very sad. The kids are behind. It's impacted their fine motor. It's impacted their, ability to follow directions and follow through with the demands of a task.
Wow. And so how long have you been a therapist there, Megan?
About 22 years.
About 20 years. So is this the worst? So definitely for a fact with your experience and what you're describing in your 22 years of being a therapist, have you ever seen anything like this prior with children?
I'm sorry, you're
Hello,
going to
Megan.
have to say that again because you broke up a lot.
Okay, yeah. What I said, have you ever seen this with your 22 years of experience? Have you ever seen anything like this with children and what you've been with the children that you've been working with in public schools? Or do you really contribute this to mask wearing and what these children have gone through because of the mandates?
I think it's a majority of the things that, a majority of the mandates that were imposed upon the kids that the shutdowns and required to have to learn virtually. Um, Also, the mandatory mask wearing. I think it's I think it's really impacted, a lot of their development. I think the main thing that I have noticed is the ability to follow directions, or that area, the ability to follow directions and the ability to work through a task when there's a difficult or challenging demand placed on a child. um they're not willing to want to follow through on these activities. Like, some of them will just tell you no, or cry, or tantrum. um I mean, I've even had little guys come in to see me, and they want to climb on something that's not safe, and it's like, you tell them no, like, no, 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 we can't do that. And then you offer an alternative, and then they get upset, because I think that they just haven't really had the structure that they should have had. And so, instead of entering into when they should have, they entered in a couple of years late, because of all of the restrictions that were put upon them. And, some parents didn't send their children on time because of all of the mask wearing. Some parents didn't want, their kids to go through all of these unnecessary measures. So they kept them at home. So I think there's a lot of lack of exposure that occurred. Um, and they really missed out on that social development and the ability to follow directions and participate.
Understand. Thank you. So that's basically what you were touching on too, Madison, the structure.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly, the developmental stages have been interrupted by, you know, uh, what we've had to endure over the last 3 to 4 years. Um, I think, though, that a lot of what we're seeing, the majority of what we're seeing, is a result of parenting. If your child isn't, if we have students that are coming to school and are not adhering to, what authority is demanding of them, typically that's a parenting issue.
Well, yeah.
You know,
Well, I, it could be, but I don't know. I mean, I've worked I've worked in different settings. So I've worked in the schools, but I've also worked in pediatric outpatient clinics. And it's interesting, because I have had some kids that have seen me at school during the school year, and then their parent finds out that I work in a clinic over the summer, and so then they've brought that same child to me, you know, into the clinic. And it's almost like two different kiddos that you see, because when they're around their parent, sometimes they're like, there's that comfortability that they have around their mom, or that just they want to act out.
mhm.
So I think sometimes we at school can get a different result, just because it is that structured environment. And then when mom's around, it's like, oh, mom's here, I'm going to act out and be silly or refuse to do this work. So I think just the whole idea of being in that structured environment really helps them to focus a lot better. And then at home, it's like, like, here's
Parenting.
your virtual assignment, and I'm mom, and the kid is just like, ha ha, yeah, no, I'm not doing that, I'm going to hide under the table and scream. Because I did have quite a few kids
Mhm,
who were doing virtual with me, and they were screaming at their mom, running away from their mom,
mhm.
hiding under the table. And I did have a few parents that just said, can we hold a meeting to remove this service, because this virtual is not working for therapy. So
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
always that
But
they're
what you're
not parenting. I
describing is
think,
parenting. I mean, if they're going to act out in front of their parents, that's parenting. Certainly, yeah, I'm not for the virtual. I think that obviously
yeah,
in person is always better. Even when I was in school. Back in the day, they didn't have virtual; they had the correspondence. If you can remember that.
Yeah, the correspondence courses.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean,
Uh,
but here's what I here's
but,
what I
uh,
know, as far as growing up, okay, as far as seeing kids, because it's almost the reverse, because what Megan is describing, the kids acting up around their parents, right, because
mm,
they have that feel comfort, but they don't act up, with in another structure where their parent isn't there when kids are small. It's just the opposite when kids are big sometimes, right? Kids will act correctly because they know they'll get that ass beat with their mom there. But then when their mom not there, it's when they'll act out, when they're older, so
mhm.
the parenting, I believe it may not be quote unquote bad parenting per se, but it may be the kids are a little smarter and a little more, they understand when authority is not there, because like when older kids go to high school, go to school, they understand, hey, you can't do nothing to me, so I can
Yeah.
pretty much do what I want, right? In these older things where like you, Madison, you still an old school teacher. I'm gonna call your mom, right? You get the mom up there and they stop acting up, right? Because that's the way we were brought up. Don't call my mom, please. I'll act right. Don't call my mom. But nowadays, with these, with the transgenderism stuff, with the schools, trying to become the parents, and they don't want to, notify your parents. They want to be the parent, and they want to drive that wedge between the kids and parenting. I believe, when you get up in those upper echelon grades, to where they allow kids to do that, and they know that they're not going to get in any trouble. They know that there's not, going to be any repercussions for their actions. So a lot of that has to do with these government schooling, taking the authority away from parents, in these schools, to where these kids act up when their parents aren't around, So, I mean,
Yeah.
because I've seen it, and I've seen kids act up, and I know they had great parents. And I mean, because I was friends with them, I'd be like, why are you acting like that? Your mom and daddy don't allow you to act like that. Why are you acting like this when you know they're not around? Right. So, I mean, but yeah, it definitely can go both ways. And I think it happens with the age of the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think's right. I think it's a little different for Madison because he works with the older kids, and most of mine, like I said, are preschool up to age 7.
Well, like I said, we have K through 8. So we
Hmm.
have biddies as well as the middle school kids, and
Hmm.
so we've got the younger ones as well.
Some of them young
Yeah.
ones can be terrors.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
and I've been in some well, I'm in the southeast, but I've been at several different campuses. I've been teaching a while, and I definitely know that parenting and structure makes the difference. Irregardless, like I said, I'm
Yeah.
at a blue ribbon school right now, and COVID, has definitely affected everyone, but not to the point to where the news and everyone else is trying to make it seem. I mean, we're still in the top 92% of the country, insofar as, and we're in Southeast. I mean, it's a rough area. So all these excuses, the point I'm trying to make is all these excuses that all these media heads and politicians and everyone else is trying to make for the students in order to make a political point is ridiculous. The bottom line is that when students come to school, there ought to be structure and discipline and expectations, and those expectations need to be adhered to. When that happens, then you see academics soar.
oh,
When you
absolutely.
don't have that, then you get all the other riffraff that the media likes to report on.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're in a school that definitely puts authority first,
Hmm.
to where a typical public school, they don't. They
Right,
put the child's needs and the child's feelings first. They take the authority away from the teachers, to where
right.
your school is definitely different, because I hear you describing that. I mean, it's the same thing, where I used to be head of security at a Western Branch high school, and also coached football, right? These kids would act an ass, some of them, during the day for their teachers, but when they came out to the football field, they're a whole different cat. because they knew you come out here and act up, bro. It's gonna be some punishment. It's gonna, be some repercussions for your actions. If you step out of line out here. And kids understand that. Kids understand authority. Kids need that line. Kids need that authority. Kids need to know, what they can and cannot do, period.
Right.
And when we do that and we set those boundaries for these kids, no matter what age they are, whether they're preschool up to 12th grade, when you set boundaries for kids and when kids understand that those boundaries cannot be compromised, and if they do, there's going to be some type of punishment that go along with that. Like say you will see kids, like say soaring academics, soaring sports, soaring whatever they do, because there's, because they respect authority and they understand that fact, no matter what age they are. And I learned this in Western Branch too. It doesn't even matter if there's special needs.
Absolutely.
It doesn't even matter if there's special needs. And I'll give you an example. Is that, and Megan, you can hang on if you want, or you can go, but thank you for calling. Really appreciate it. But
Thank
you're
you.
welcome to hang on,
Thank you, Megan.
on if you want. But sometimes we would get called to these special needs rooms because sometimes the kids just get totally out of line for these teachers, and these teachers don't know what to do, right? And so this one young special needs boy, he was in there just cutting up, man, throwing chairs and, and just throwing stuff at the teacher. And so when I went in there, he saw authority. And you know what he did? He sat down. I'm good. And this is a special needs kid that they said don't understand. No, they do. They do understand. It's just like, growing up and you see a crazy person on the street. He could be messing with people walking down the street. But if you have another crazy person walking down the street and they think that's crazier than them, they're not gonna mess with that crazy person. They're gonna let them, walk on by, right? So people know, when there's authority, and people know when, and I know there's exceptions to every rule. So please don't call, please don't say, oh, well, because there's exceptions to every rule. I'm not saying, it's inclusive for everyone. Okay. But the majority of people, whether they're special needs, whether they're, the worst kids, the best kids, whatever, they know right from wrong. Would you agree, Megan, with that, with your kids? Did she leave? Okay.
No,
You still here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Say that again.
No, I say, so would you agree to that these kids that you deal with, on a daily basis, no matter what, they do understand right from wrong?
I think most of them do. I think some of them, on an occasion, their IQ is so low. I mean, that some of them, might have some behaviors that they don't really know.
And
But I
those would
think
be
a
the exceptions.
majority, I think a majority of them do know. I really feel majority of them do know. But there's a small handful where their IQ is just so low that, they do things that they don't really, like throw their juice on the floor, but they just are throwing it. It's like a very small baby. You give them something and they throw it. And like, even though it might be a 13-year-old that's throwing their juice box on the floor, it's not like I'm doing this to be bad. It's just that my IQ is that of a 1-year-old.
Right.
And so they developmentally are not really understanding that what they're doing is wrong. But most of them know.
Okay. Well, Megan, thank you for calling the show. Go ahead, Don. You had something for Megan? Hold on, Megan. I think Don had something.
Yes.
Hold on.
Megan, do you think that it helps their behavior if you treat them like a normal child? And there's a reason I'm asking this.
I think each child is kind of a separate case, and you have to, there's a lot of things that come into play, like, what is their IQ?
Right.
If they are, 9 or 10 years old and they have the IQ of like a baby,
Right.
then you're not going to be able to, they're not going to, and there's some kids too, with autism who don't understand they don't have good receptive language. So when you speak to them, they don't really process what you're saying. So if you speak to them how you would speak to like a typically developing child, they may not be able to understand you. So you're going to have to speak to them in a manner which they can understand you.
Right.
So I think there's a point where you do have to modify the environment. You have to modify the way you're presenting things to them so that they can understand, but I also think too that exposure to, typically developing peers is also very helpful.
Okay. Well, and the reason I asked that, I've had two separate uh, people that I knew in my lifetime that were fairly close to me, and treating them like a normal person helped. I mean, my mom's best friend had a son
Mm-hmm.
who was
Mm-hmm.
35 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't talk. He grunted,
Mm-hmm.
but his mother always said when they'd go to the store, he would pick typically smaller or older females, and he would bump
Mm-hmm.
into them intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
And it only took one time with me being present.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was in my early 20s. I'd been in the Army and was in college. And it only took one time for me to stop him and say, "Hey, Butch, we don't do that. That's not right." And he may have done it
Yeah.
with his mom present, but he didn't do it with me present anymore. So he
Yeah.
understood what I was telling him. And another
Yeah.
situation, a friend of mine had a son with Down syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
and he came in, and I mean, I gave him a football. I was on recruiting duty. I gave him a football, gave him a bunch of, stuff that we had to give away. And I treated him like a normal kid.
Mm-hmm.
And that kid's 28 years old now. I think he was 7 or
Mm-hmm.
8 at the time. And
Mm-hmm.
every time I see his father, he still says, "Hey, how is Don doing?" His son
Mm-hmm.
always asks how I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
and if he's seen me lately.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
treating them like a normal person helped
Mm-hmm.
in both of those situations.
Yeah,
So
I think it's beneficial in certain situations, but when you're talking about education, it does become it's a little different because
right,
they're not always going to understand the information in the way that you might present it to a typically developing child. So
okay,
there are situations where it yes, treat them like a typical developing individual, but there are other cases where, I mean, you have kids who can't transfer information from the board. They can't do it. Like, you're going to expect some of it from them. Maybe they're going to um, do fill in the blank, and you're give them a sheet, and they're going to just fill in the missing words, and they did part of it, but they're not going to, like their classmate, they're not going to copy every sentence. So, you can't make a blanket statement that always helps, but I think it depends on the situation, and each individual is so different, and all of their needs are so different. That's why you have the specially designed instruction for each individual, and it's very unique. So, I have a variety of kids that come to me, and each of their treatment protocols is unique to that child, you know so it really does depend.
okay. And I just, like I said, I just wondered, that was my experience. I didn't know if that was something that has a tendency to help across the board, or if it is a
Hmm.
situational thing. And
Hmm.
I was not laughing at anything you were saying. I was laughing at what Al put down in the chat.
Hmm.
I haven't even been down in the chat yet, so I'm gonna go
He
down in the
said we
chat.
need
But
a major pain in every classroom.
all right. Well, Megan, thank you for calling in,
Thank
and
you.
thank you for watching the show. You're welcome to hit me up and call in anytime if you want to talk about anything else other than what you're doing. Thank you for what you do for these kids as well.
Thank
Like I
you.
said, I know you personally. I won't reveal your identity, Megan, but thank you for what you do, and really appreciate you a lot. And I'm sure
Thank you very much.
these kids love you.
Hey,
Thank you.
thanks for coming on.
Thank
A lot
you.
of people won't.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, take
Thanks.
care. All right,
Bye.
Bye-bye.
all right, so we're gonna go down this chat. I want to hit this on Vic. Hey Vic, I hope you're still in. Another thing you learned if cops show up to you, yeah, they're supposed to have a warrant to
Mhm.
even come on your property. See, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people, they, believe that the cops have authority to just come and knock on your door and ask for stuff. They can't. And I'm glad you put that in the chat. That the police have rules that they have to follow. And like I said, you could tell a police if he comes to your door, you can tell him to please walk back to the public street and get off of my property. You can speak to me from the sidewalk. You can speak to me from the street, but you cannot speak to me on my property without a warrant. And that's fact. And so yeah, definitely. So we're gonna go down. Right. Absolutely. There you go. Oh yeah, and it's from a lawyer. Oh yeah. See, people don't understand law, and that's what Madison was hitting on last week. That people don't need lawyers and they don't need doctors and they don't need things if they understand their rights and understand what the law is. And a lot of people don't understand the law, so they get taken advantage of. My nephew, a lot of people gonna say that, but there's Supreme Court cases to back it up. And I sent it to him because he asked me about having a driver's license and all of these things, right? Well, there's numerous Supreme Court cases that actually state that if you are operating a vehicle on public roads and you are not providing commerce, you do not need a driver's license.
All right, that's UCC law. Right.
That's UCC law, and there's numerous cases of that's gone to the Supreme Court, and they have won. To that fact. Okay, but people just go and get driver's licenses because that's what we were taught to do. That's what we were brought up as. But a lot of these things are just tax and fees on people. And you guys give me 1 minute.
Well, yeah, you got to realize that the court system is like the largest banking system, or one of the largest banking systems in the country, and the banker is.
Hey guys, hold down the fort for a second. I got to run and do something.
Okay. And the banker is a judge. So and a lot of these fees, that derive from codes and statutes, and the codes and statutes that are created by the legislative bodies are by and large codes and statutes that directly contradict either state constitution or U.S. Constitution.
Right. And every bit of that money goes right back to the people that pay the judge.
That's it. The judge, and everybody else working, in that system, in that municipality. So it's definitely something where Americans have been kind of being run roughshod. And I think that what's going to happen is, especially with the new, these new stringent IRS laws that are coming down the pike, and with the 87,000 brown shirts and all the audits, we already fought another country over this.
Yep.
In order to gain our freedom and independence. It's just interesting, that we're always told that history repeats itself, but when it happens in your lifetime, it's always one of those things that kind of just is a huge eye opener. So now we're beginning to see the beginnings of the intense the intensity of them actually encroaching upon our freedoms that our forefathers fought for, and it's just going to be interesting to see how this pans out, because you have these audits, I mean, what are you auditing? So first of all, you're auditing something that's illegal, and you basically stole money from the people because there's no law that really, and on the books, constitutional wise, it says that we're supposed to be paying this money. People agreed to pay it, through, whether it's the Virginia Assembly or whatever the case, but then, you're taking it a step further, and you're taking way too much money. You're taking people's kindness for weakness.
Right.
Yeah.
If you ever want to make a donation to the Commonwealth of Virginia, go rolling up 95, doing about 8 miles an hour over the speed limit with no front tag on your car.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They'll oh well, any little thing, sucks. I haven't been pulled over in a long time,
Yeah,
but
if you live there, you got a tag on the front of your car. Every time I go into Virginia, man, they're like, woo, because
yeah,
North Carolina's only got one tag.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's one. Let's get him.
Well, they say Virginia's tough, but Virginia is tough, in a lot of different ways insofar as stealing people's money.
Well, yeah.
You're talking about the personal property taxes, which makes no sense whatsoever. You've got, and that's a Virginia Assembly thing. That's the governor, the so that's Youngkin, that's Winsome, and the Assembly there. So while they're talking about gas taxes and grocery taxes, how about if my house is paid off, I don't have to pay taxes on that anymore?
Right.
Or if my vehicle is paid off, I don't have to pay taxes on that anymore. I can understand paying a flat fee to keep the roads maintained,
Right.
or something like that, or to keep Virginia clean, things like that. But, if I own something, I shouldn't be paying taxes on this,
Right. You paid sales tax on it when you got it, and then you got to pay property tax on it the rest of the time you own it, whether you paid it off or not.
So essentially you're renting for your
Yeah.
entire life.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
And if you own it outright and you fail to pay your taxes, they'll come take it away from you.
yeah, they'll come take it. Yeah.
So you're, like you said, you're basically renting it from the government.
Yeah, you're renting from the government for the entirety of your life.
And that's something that I wish some states have gotten on board. I wish more states would get on board, because and I've told everybody I know, go to school board meetings and participate in the process. And they're like, well, I don't have kids. Okay, well, you pay taxes.
Right.
And then, like me, I homeschool my kids. So I have every right to be there as anybody else until they tell me, oh, hey, you know what? Since you homeschool your kids, we're going to give you this money back,
Right.
so that you can put it into their education,
Mm-hmm.
since they're not attending public schools. Until they do that, I've got every right to be at that school board meeting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As long as you're a taxpayer, you have every right. And not only that, your children should have the right to participate in school sports.
Yes.
In every other after school event that is being hosted by those tax dollars.
Yeah.
The one of the largest atrocities that I think that's taking place in the school system is, kids now have to pay to play sports.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, when we were coming up, watching football was free.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to have cable. So what about the poor kids?
Right.
Some people can't afford cable to watch Monday Night Football or ESPN or NFL Network. You know what I mean? So that's the whole point, right? It's to give them another outlet. So one of the things that, and it kind of leads into, this whole thing where we're talking about this COVID debacle and children not being able to, their associations, their social ineptness, is being exacerbated by COVID. No, it's not necessarily by COVID. It's the fact that kids are not allowed to be able to go out and run and play like we used to.
Right.
When we were children, we were never in the house
Right.
until it started, till those street lights came on.
And ate dirt on occasion.
Say again?
I said, and ate dirt on occasion.
Yeah, mud pie. Yeah, nah. I was a germaphobe, man. I didn't do that. You know what I mean? But yeah, exactly. I mean, it's but nowadays everybody's in the house on PlayStation or Xbox, or on their phones,
Right.
Um,
Well, and the other thing, you were talking about, the people that can't afford cable. I mean, even if they could, you can't even slide a piece of aluminum foil up under the switch now.
no, you can't. It doesn't work anymore. I know I tried. I remember when we first built this house, and we didn't have anything hooked up, and they actually had to, install the wiring, go through the ground and all that stuff. Yeah, 3 minutes to speak, Vic. Yes, absolutely ridiculous. I include at least 2 or more minorities, women. Yeah, well, there's always hope, but hope is just we need to stop we need to stop using that word hope. We need to stop using the word try. It's either you do or you don't, you will or you won't. It is or it isn't. It's either black or white.
Yep.
This gray area stuff and these feelings, and I feel like, and I want to identify, and no, it's either you are or you aren't. These things are going to happen or they're not going to happen. And these are the things that, now we all have the ability to make miracles happen, and these are the innovators. These are the people who are the go-getters. These are the ones who spend that extra time and effort studying or working hard to create something that benefits society as a whole. All right. I'm not saying that is not a possibility, but all this other stuff that they're dumping in the children's head, it's just ridiculous, and it's screwing our entire society up. You look around at children nowadays, and every day, not where I am now, but in several schools, I'd be thinking, man, China's going to kick our butts, because these children are weak, they're undisciplined, they're unruly, their parents don't know how to parent. When the parents come in, there have been plenty of parents I had to set straight, and I set them straight, because they're not doing their job. And it's not just about their child. It's about, what if I run into your child out in the street, out in town, and your child acts like that around my daughters or around my family, or how is your child going to act if they run into an elderly member of my family and then they're acting, so it's not just about them and their family, it's about society as a whole, and this SEL, and yeah, I don't know anything about CRT. People keep talking about CRT. I still haven't seen it. So, but all the social, emotional. No, you see, look, this is the way it is. This is what you're going to do. If you don't do it, these are the consequences, and you will adhere to these consequences. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I saw a thing today that made me chuckle, because it's very, I guess, it's how the world is today. And it said, I died once when I was 5, and my mom made me walk it off.
Absolutely. I got my butt whipped bad, a lot.
Yeah.
Mischievous, so yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question real quick. Can you hear this?
Yes.
Are you playing something?
Yeah. Can you hear like that music?
Mm-mm.
Okay, you couldn't hear it. Okay, I'm gonna play a trailer real quick. I want everybody to. I mean, this is it's a trailer. I'm gonna share the screen. I'm gonna share the trailer.
Okay.
But this is, like I say, by design, and I mean, and not because my friend did, but I want everyone to go and watch this documentary. It's called Trans Wreck. Okay, and I believe I may have sent the link out to some people, and you all really need to watch this, because this is what's going on, and it happened at the same time because it's been by design. So a lot of stuff that that's going on with these kids in these schools and going on is done by design. Okay, so I'm going to share this with you. Hopefully you can hear the sound. You guys just let me know if you can or can't hear the sound. But I'm gonna share. But I'm going to share this. So go to this. It's called and you'll see it in here. X in the Sky. X is basically in the sky films.com. I'm going to share this with you guys, man. So here now, check it out. I mean, because this is one of the most important films that I've seen, documentaries that I've seen in quite some time. So check it out.
That we're not protecting our children.
You're a boy, right?
No, I'm a girl.
Who told you you're a girl?
Mommy. So I think the transgender movement represents the ultimate rebellion against God. I was told not to talk about God to my daughter. For most of American history, it's been okay to be a Christian. Well, not anymore.
When I have taken James to school in boys' clothes, the teacher gave him a dress.
They know what they're doing is going to destroy that child's life. That's why they don't tell the parents.
I have a question for you ladies on the school board. How would you like to go into a locker room right now where there's a naked man staring at you with an erection? If the thought of that makes you uncomfortable, it also makes my 12-year-old daughter uncomfortable.
Can the girls watch me dress and undress in my gym clothes if I declare I'm a girl? Because now I call myself a girl, and I travel on the girls' soccer team, sleep in the girls' hotel rooms with my PJs, watching the girls shower and change clothes.
When people say they're transgender, we say, no, you're not. When people say they're transitioning, no, you can't. When people say they have gender dysphoria, I say, no, you don't. See, if we use their language, we are giving them power to destroy our nation.
I cannot imagine giving somebody the ability to cut off my child's genitals. It's not something that should be legal in a civilized society.
This insidious practice, this trans scam, this child abuse is going to ruin this country. This is the hill to die on. This is the denial of the ultimate and most fundamental reality of personhood. If we lose this battle, all battles in the future will be lost.
All right, so that was his trailer for the film, and this is the battle. This is the battle that's going on in America right now that we have to fight. In my opinion, this is where we are losing our kids. This is where, like I said, we're losing society, and it's not only everyone's fault; it's the church's fault. I mean, you have to watch the video. The video is amazing. The documentary, it's more than a video; it's a documentary. It's a little over an hour long, and you saw that man, right? That was, the gray-haired guy, the white-haired guy with the glasses, right? He's a transgender, right? And so he transitioned to a woman and transitioned back to the man. That's who's speaking, to these people, right? He transitioned back to a man. If you can transition back to whatever, he was always a man, but he'll tell you transition back. He was always a man, but he in the film describes why you can never transition from one sex to another. And it's true. You can't. And he actually tells us. So I suggest everyone go to that It's is X something, whatever. I'll put the link. I'll put the link. It's called Transrec is the name of it, but I'll put the link in the chat. And but it, and, it's just one of them films, and so we see what's going on in these schools. It's all by design. Okay, it's all by design because it happened all at the same time. The sexual emotional learning, it happened in every school across the nation at the same time.
Mhm.
Every school across the nation at the same time. They implemented these, the SELs, all these structures, the transgender movement, every single one. And so I'm gonna put this in the chat. So and it wasn't an accident because it happened in every school across the nation. It
Right.
was a plan. It was a planned out plan. It was an organized plan, and this is why that and a lot of these schools took money. It was all even from the government because they took money from the government, and once they took money from the government, yeah, they may have spent the money on football field lights or turf fields or whatever, but they had to teach this SELs. That's why this SEL stuff is being taught in the schools, because the government gave these school systems money and the school system took it.
Mhm.
And when they took that money, and there's a like a closure in there, an agreement in there that if you do not teach these SEL courses, and I have a course, a schedule from a middle school where they teach SEL from like 8:30 to like 9 o'clock or whatever it was every single day. They're teaching this to kids every single day. They're grooming these kids for this prostitution pipeline, I say, right? And they're focusing on these transgender kids, what they call transgender, because they're the most confused. They're the most confused. And they're grooming these kids, man, and driving this wedge between, these parents. The BLM, that was their motto, take down, the Western family, the Western nuclear family. So it's to
Yeah.
take down nuclear family. And we all have to fight this. We all have to fight this, and we cannot give in to any of this satanic, demonic behavior any longer if we want to save this country.
Well, I got two things. Number one, there's always a test run. Whatever somebody decides to do, there's always a test run. And Common Core was the test run for this. They presented the curriculum, and then they said, let's see if the schools will accept the money to teach this curriculum. And once they accepted that money, they were stuck. They had no choice, and it was so easy. Now that's what they're doing with this. We'll give you money if you'll do X, Y, and Z. Oh, okay, we'll take the money. So, and the other thing I wanted to say was going back up to, I don't know if it was Al or if it was Vic, but one of them mentioned hope. And whenever I gave somebody a task and they came to give me an update, if they said the word hope, I would explain to them, hope is a good thing to have. Hope is not a course of action.
Right. Right.
Absolutely. Hope, it's just like having goals but not having a plan.
Yep.
You can have goals all day long, but if you don't have a plan, and speaking about the words that Madison was speaking about that you can't use in the schools, that's how, there was words that couldn't be used in my house. There was words that could not be used from, members of my football team that I coached. And that was can't. You could not have an excuse for anything. There's no such thing as an excuse. You can't have that. There's nothing. And that's why you can't have an excuse, because you can't use can't and you can't have an excuse. So if those two words don't exist,
you guys
in
will
someone's
understand
vocabulary.
this. You guys will understand this. Somebody else in the chat might understand it, but you know what the maximum effective range of an excuse is, right? 0 meters.
0 meters. Where, we say in the Navy, excuses builds bridges to nowhere. So You know,
Please don't. I mean, what's that? What's an excuse?
you know, the excuses are the tools of the incompetence. Build bridges to nowhere, and those that use them are suddenly good at anything else. You know, so that's the definition of an excuse. So, I mean, it's cool. Matter of fact, let me do this, man. I'm gonna go back, and I'm so proud. I got to show you guys something, man. I mean, this is the power. Seriously, this is the power of a kid believing in someone that believes in him, right? A mother that, single mom, 6 kids, who allowed someone to believe in her son, and that she allowed to basically believe in, and she decided to believe in as well, right? Because after sometimes you don't trust people, right? And I mean, but this is the trust factor of people. I'm gonna share something and show you guys in a second, but it and of course I'm involved, or else I wouldn't be saying it. I mean, but this is about understanding what kids need, because sometimes kids don't understand what they need, especially when you're talking about sports, right? When
They
you're
don't.
talking about when you're talking about especially when you're dealing with other people, like for example, okay, you have these, let's say, high school coaches, right? And a lot of these high school coaches, they don't care about these kids, man. All they care is about their win-loss record, right? And what this kid can do for them, not the overall, effect of this kid, right? So here's a story. I'm good at telling stories. So, back when I was coaching football at Western Branch, a kid transferred in to play basketball. For the basketball, the kid was 6'5", wore a size 18 shoe. We called him 18s, right? We called him 18s because he wore a size 18 shoe. He was 6'5". He was a decent basketball player, right? But when you're a football coach for over 20 years, like I've been, you can look at a kid from a basketball team, or you can look at a kid that has athletic ability, and you can basically tell if this kid can make it in football, right? And knowing, being a recruiting coordinator and knowing what colleges want, a kid 6'5", 200 pounds, probably can go D1 just because of his size. That's what they want.
That's my new test.
Because you can't teach speed and you can't teach size.
Or hands.
Right? Or hands. And he has some big hands, right? So he was on the basketball team, and he would not come out for football because his coach wouldn't let him. His coach was like, well, if you go play football, I'm going to cut you, right? And he thought that his ticket out of the hood was to help his mom raise her family. His dad wasn't around. Was basketball, because he was tall. I'm like, dude, look, come play football for me. I said, and I don't guarantee kids scholarships or anything like that. I just know when kids have the ability, if you put in the hard work, and this is what I told him, if you come play football for me, you put in the work and you do everything I tell you to do, right? I will guarantee you here today that you will get a D1 scholarship to play football, to be able to take care of your education, where you can go to college and your mom won't have to pay for it, right? I don't make that guarantee to every kid. I just know what I know, okay? And his mom, I had to talk to his mom, and his mom was like, well, no, he's a basketball player. I'm like, Mom, he's okay. I'm gonna be honest, he's an okay basketball player, but he can be a great football player. He can be a great defensive end. He could be a great tight end, right? If he does what I tell him to do. I say, Mom, trust me. I say, give him to me. Give him to me. Okay. And you'll be happy after 4 years. So anyway, fast forward to the story. The kid came and played for me for 2 years. Played for 2 years. Football. Just 2 years of football. Right? He got a D1 scholarship to Norfolk State University. Played at Norfolk State University for 4 years. Started as a freshman, because when we take kids, we have them college ready, okay, to go to the next level. Played 4 years at Norfolk State. Unfortunately, there's only 46, 78, 77, whatever draft positions it is in the NFL. Okay. He didn't get drafted, got his scholarship, got his education, got his degree, but it's one thing that we taught him, you never have any excuses. You never say can't, and you put in the work. So I know his work ethic was solid, right? So I'm going to show you guys something right now. Undrafted to the NFL. The boy had faith in himself. He believed in everything we taught him. It wasn't just me, it was coaches. But the boy made the 53-man roster for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The boy's in the NFL because he took a chance on somebody that took a chance on him.
Nice.
And now he's a millionaire, making a 53-man roster. He can take care of his mom. He can move his mom out of the hood. He can buy his mom a house. And he worked hard, man. And I'm so proud. I mean, I've got plenty of guys in NFL, but this is one of the best stories that I have about a kid that once played for me, that took a chance on Coach Bell. And this guy, man, he's playing with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Made the last cut. And that smile tells it all. And not only that, he's a great kid. He's a great kid. He's a great person. But that's what we do. So that's the hope, that you talk about, but with hope, you have to put forth the effort. You gotta put in the work to reach your dreams and to reach that hope. You just can't, say, well, let's hope and the shit that just gonna come. It don't work like that.
Right.
But I want to share that story with y'all, man, because awesome. I got me some Jacksonville Jaguar tickets coming. I talked to him yesterday. and they're not even my team, but they my team now. They one of my team.
Are they coming up this way? Or you going down to Florida?
I'm going down to Florida. Yeah, I'm gonna go down there. Well, I'm gonna look at their schedule. If they come close, I might go out there, but I'm going down to the stadium, man.
Absolutely.
I might have me some sideline passes. Come on.
Nah, you want the booth, baby.
I ain't gonna make the booth. He's a rookie. I ain't making the booth.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe. Yeah.
Not yet, anyway. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's the thing, though, man. We just got to take chances on somebody, and these kids got to take chances on us, man. And these parents, sometimes these parents got to let go, man, and understand, these moms that want to, not allow their sons to be raised or taken under another man's wing, to make them better and make them great. So I just want to share that story.
How else does it happen? It doesn't happen any other way. I mean, I don't know of any other way that happens. Whether it be sports or the military or corporate America.
Right.
Can somebody tell me another way that it happens?
Nope.
I don't know of any other way.
Can't do it, man.
So since he's a rookie, next year you can take a couple co-hosts with you.
Yeah. Next year I'll be able to.
I'll probably sit down with our fellas. I've had enough football. I try to stay away. I'm good watching it from the basement.
From the basement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't have cable, so
I got a nephew that's probably gonna go pro, but when he goes pro, then I'll go again.
All right.
There you go. All right, cool, man. So, but anything else we need to touch on today? Anything else crazy in this world that we didn't mention or share some good stories, man? But that's what we're gonna do every night, man. We're gonna, like I say, if anyone want to call in, it's up in the chat. find it. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have people that can call into the show and become part of the show, ask questions, we can chat and talk. So we're gonna evolve to
Ready though.
that.
Be ready
Huh?
if you come on the show.
Now, if you're coming to Lions Den now, I mean, if anybody can come, no
Where,
matter what affiliation, but this is the Lions Den, and it's
where you
called the
big
Lions
girl
Den
panties?
for a reason.
Where you big girl panties?
Mm-hmm.
And bring receipts. Don't just come in with a bunch of talk and a bunch of rhetoric. Bring
Yeah.
receipts. Bring receipts. Okay, Alex. Who? Okay, Alex. Who are you? You want to come in? Alex, you want to come in? Trump lost? Yeah, I mean, if you want to say that, I mean, just let me know if you want to come in.
The
I
thing
mean, you can come
about
in. Matter of fact, here, hold up.
the thing about that is Trump is still winning.
Still winning.
He's still winning. I mean,
He lives every day in their heads.
well, not just in his head, he winning in court.
Oh yeah.
Every single day.
He's winning every time Biden screws up. He's winning with gas prices. He's winning with grocery prices. He's winning with the trucking. He's winning with the oil. He's winning with the pipeline. He's winning.
Yeah.
So explain to me how Biden's winning.
Explain to me how 81 people. Explain to me how 81 million people voted for Biden and he only can get 10 people to show up.
Yeah.
Tell me that, that's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. I mean, and so tell me that. But I mean, I'm glad you're watching, Alex. Where are you watching from, man? Alex, Bill Barr said Trump is going to be. Yeah, of course he's going to be indicted. That's part of the plan. But the thing is he going to jail? Is he going to prison? Anybody can be indicted for any trumped up charge, Alex.
Yep. Part of the process. That's why we have due process.
Alex equals. I mean, is this Alex from where? There you go, Alex. Come on in, man. There you go, Alex. Hit that link, man. You go ahead and hit that link and come on up in here and let's talk about what you and talk about what you're talking about, man. All right.
He's winning with his endorsements, absolutely. Yeah.
So Alex equals troll.
Okay.
See, what say? Yeah.
You gotta you have to have haters, man.
Hey man, we love haters. Brother always got haters, man. We have them all from what we doing, man, in this country. Absolutely, Thomas. Al, no doubt, man. No doubt. But but like I say, man, if you want to come on up in the Lions Den, just come on and don't have crickets, brother, because we haven't eaten in a while. We haven't eaten in a while. We kind of hungry. We kind of hungry, so
yeah.
But, you're welcome to come in. I'm gonna see if Alex gonna click that link, pop up in here, and you don't have to put your face. You don't have to, use your camera. You can just use your voice, man. Just call in. So.
Trump isn't that.
Oh God, here you go, man. Man, Alex is spitting these Democrat, man. He's talking these Democrat lies, man. I mean, come on, man. He stole classified documents, right? He stole them. Do you understand that the president can declassify any document that he wants and then take it with him and it's not classified? See, that's the part that they don't tell you guys, man. Y'all listen to people like CNN and MSNBC talk about he stole classified documents. If they're not classified, if he declassified them, dumbass. Let's just be real, man.
Well, so
come on.
And an indictment does not preclude you from, exclude you from
correct. Correct. So let's ask another question. Do you really think Trump packed those damn boxes?
No, man, he probably told him what to put in there. You know what I mean? I'll give him that much. Listen, the issue is not about the nuclear whatever. It's about what he had on the FBI. That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Crossfire Hurricane. So he said he had some things about nuclear and about foreign nuclear information. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking, right? First of all, he declassified. Let's just say he had it, because I'm hearing that those folders were empty. But let's just say he had those documents declassified, right? Wouldn't you want the ex-president, who's probably going to be president again, to have information on where our enemy's nuclear weapons and things about our nuclear weapens? I would.
I don't know about that one, man.
I mean, I'm just saying, I would. I would. Hey, it's like knowing where their weapons are, man. We know where to go get them. We know where to target.
If you're not in the office, though, man,
But
it's like
you can't declassify, but you declassify while you're still president. And so in your same token, where you answer me this, Captain Obvious, Alex, how can you impeach a president when he's no longer president? I'll wait for your answer.
The conversation is now digressing.
And where we at? I'm going.
It's digressing. You can't. When we start talking about comic book stuff,
if you get fired from job. Okay, all right, Alex. Answer the question, man. How do you impeach? How do you impeach someone that's not a sitting president? But they did that, though, right?
Oh, no. He's talking about Hillary with that furniture from the White House.
Oh, no, he's talking about Hillary with that server in her bathroom, classified server in her toilet, where she was reading emails and messages while she was using the bathroom, whatever. Okay, Alex.
Alex, come on into the show, man, so you can actually, express yourself. It would be good to hear your voice, other than just reading the small captions and bits of what you're saying.
It's all good. Like, he won't answer a question, he won't come on this show, man. So, the link is there. The link is there for anyone, by the way, too. If you want to come in and call into the show and voice your opinion, whatever you got to say, you can just come in, make a comment, ask questions of the host, anything, because we answer anything and everything. So you're welcome to come into the show as well by that link. Don't throw your camera on.
Well, the big argument now, Jerome, is that, they're saying that Trump, to Alex's point, you don't have okay, next show. We look forward to having you up here, Alex. That's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm curious what you have to say.
I am too.
The argument now is that, Trump should be treated like any other American if they had committed, the alleged crime that they're, alleging that he did. Well, that argument is ridiculous on its face. I mean, what average American would even be in that position to have those documents, to have the ability to classify or declassify, to determine what you are going to take from, said White House, or, it's just a ridiculous. The arguments are becoming so asinine from the left that it amounts to a middle school argument. And it's one thing if you actually have something, because if they had something, he'd already be locked up.
Thank you. That's what I keep telling people. If he had nuclear codes, he had all this classified information, they would have, one, they knew about it. One, they would have been raided his house. Two, he would have went straight to jail if it was a crime. Okay. Right. If there was a crime. See, but what the left banks on is the ignorance of people. They just throw stuff out there. What they're trying to do, they're trying to pull independence away, independent conservatives away. They're trying to pull, some MAGA. They're trying to make it fearful. Trump's going to he's not going to be president. So let's just throw it in hopes that people actually buy this and believe this. But when you're actually not ignorant, you actually see through everything that they're trying. And like you say, it's really middle school and it's very laughable, at this point, And
it's the pattern is just, it's repeating itself. It's like what we went through with COVID. You know, people losing their jobs, they're losing their homes, people are losing loved ones for the lack. They lost loved ones not because of COVID or getting sick. They because of the lack of the ability to get to treatment. You know, in a lot of cases, or in other cases, you know, being given experimental chemicals that were known to kill a plethora of different people, of human beings, before they even started giving it to, you know, civilians, you know, in hospitals. And they knew all this. And so then what they did was they gaslighted, and they fear mongered, and that's kind of, you know, that's the same thing that we're seeing with Trump. They're trying to fear monger, you know, in order to maintain their status, and maintain their power. And so that's the worst kind of leader that you could ever have, is someone who wants to lead through fear. The other piece is that I find really interesting is, I don't understand how you feel like I mean, you're gonna be able to make some of the people, maybe a large part of the people, fearful, but Americans are very violent and don't really fear a whole hell of a lot, you know. So, matter of fact, they kind of welcome that, you know, that type of animosity, that antagonism, because they're looking for something to fight. And so you get this guy getting up there with the red background, trying to use the Marines as backdrops and trying to threaten over half of the American population and think that it's okay. You know, be careful what you wish for, you know, because, yeah, that right there, that nonsense, you know, what an idiot. You've got a guy who basically is losing his mind. Um, Whatever he has, Alzheimer's, dementia, whatever it is that they won't tell the American people. I'd like to get a look at his physical. You know, they did that to Trump. They made sure everybody knew what his physical said. You know, I'd like to know what a physician would say about his mental state. You know, but you get this guy up there who's making a joke of our country in front of the entire world. That looks nothing like any that. You know what that looks like? That looks like, you know, a scene from a Marvel movie where Captain America is now evil and he's working for Hydra or something like that. You know, it's just absolutely ridiculous. You know, and the guy looking like, who's the guy from Poltergeist? You know, the Lord is in his holy temple. You know, that guy, let me in. You know, that guy, you know, just trying to take everybody to hell with him. You know,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
it's ridiculous. And you know, what's interesting is, for a lot of minorities, and by minorities I mean black people, who continue to support Biden because they think that Trump is racist. Um, when you ask them, you know, how Biden is helping them out, it's crickets. When you ask them
Yeah,
how
it's
Biden is
always
helping them
crickets.
with the economy, it's crickets. When you ask them how Trump is racist, it's, you know, the things he said in social media. When you ask him for examples of what he said, it's crickets. You know, when you ask him about the policies that Trump uh, created versus the policies that Biden created, more crickets. You know, they're unread, unaware, ignorant people, and ignorant meaning not stupid. That means unlearned,
Uninformed.
uninformed. Uh, yeah, I mean, that's just that, and that's small potatoes. I mean, he just outright called black people niggers. You know what I mean? You know, comparing little black girls to roaches. I mean, come on, man. The guy has 50 years of racial rhetoric
On
to
videotape.
to include saying that, you know, the reason why he liked Obama is because he was clean and articulate. That's racist.
Dude, the
Yeah,
guy's been racist this whole time. He wrote the obituary or said the eulogy for KKK Bird. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you know, and like you say, it baffles me how many black people,
Hey, man.
you
Hey, man.
know,
Hey,
I mean, the 19, look, man, Biden destroyed generations
Mhm.
of black families with his 1994 crime bill.
Him
Generations,
and Kamala.
generations, you know, and like I said, and Kamala,
And
but
Kamala.
generations just from the crime bill alone, you
Mhm.
know, and and then his son, because I remember, okay,
Man.
you know, and you know, in that speech on the floor
Mhm.
where he said, you know, that, you know, if you know you have a quarter size, if you have a quarter size piece of crack or
Right.
whatever the case is, right? You
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
quarter size piece of crack, you're gonna
Mhm.
go to jail. I mean, for, you know, basically for life, right?
Yeah.
And here it is, his son on video,
Yeah. On
on
video.
video,
Doing his
right?
thing. Yeah.
On video,
Yeah.
doing his thing on video with, I don't even know how much crack that was, but it was on a scale. It
Oh
was
man.
on a scale, and
Some
I'm
but
like, what in the hell, you know?
wow. The Democrats.
And I mean, and this kid and this guy, and I mean, and this guy, right? And he's
Yeah.
not, and he's nowhere in jail, and he has, you know,
Dahi, Dahi.
you know, got a crack pipe in his mouth, you know,
He's
you
sleeping
know,
with the back.
sleeping with the crack pipe. You know what I'm saying?
Look at him, man. Look at him. He got
He's
his little
sleeping with the crack pipe. That boy, that boy sleeping with the crack pipe.
Hey man.
But he put all of these black men and women in jail. And like I say, Kamala too. Kamala too. She ain't off the hook.
She dumb.
She ain't off the hook.
She's stupid.
But
stupid.
And black people are going. You got these ignorant people following like Louise Lucas.
That's what I wanted to talk to. That's what I wanted to. Let's talk about that, man. Let's talk about Louise Lucas. Let's talk about Louise Lucas. But before we get to Louise Lucas, I don't mean to bring it up because I know it's a sore spot for you.
But see you later, Vic. No. Ain't no sore spots for me, man. You know, I roll. Let's go.
Don't worry, Vic, because you're going to hear this.
Hold on, Vic.
Man. Look, man, let's talk about Jen and these Republicans, man. Let's talk about these Jen and these Republicans in a second who think that they have a snowball's chance in hell of beating Luria. When every damn picture I see is Lily White. I don't see her with any minorities. I don't see any exclusivity. You know, I don't see her reaching out. I saw her try to go to a barbershop and look completely like a snowball in hell. You know, and meanwhile, you got Lori out there. I mean, she's mixing it up with everybody, man. Black, white, Asian, Filipino.
Look,
she's
man.
How do you think you're gonna? What are y'all thinking? You know,
okay. I'm what I'm about to do, man. I'm getting ready to show people.
Okay? Show the pictures, man. Show the pictures, because you know,
I'm getting ready to show people.
Is that when I see it as a minority, and I'm a double minority, right? Being a black Jew. I'm looking at this thing like, yo, man. I mean, what are y'all thinking, Republicans? And how is it that you think that you're gonna even have a chance against Luria? And then she's teaming up with Scott. You know what I mean? And then your team is Snow White. I like Terry, so I'm not going, but and an outsider. And I like Terry, but he's not gonna, we're not gonna elect an outsider to come from Killeen, Texas to run our home. It just ain't gonna happen. Nobody's gonna do that in the third. So what
I'm getting ready to show people why the Republican Party, the RPV,
right,
the Republican Party of Virginia, every precinct that voted more votes than for my ex-opponent
Because the Democrats are coming. They coming to play, man. And
than me
Louise.
because they don't understand demographics. They don't understand what I actually brought to the field. And I'm going to show you the pictures. I'm going to show you the pictures and understand. You guys really got to understand this. And why this woman is going to run away with this probably by 5 points or more.
At least, I mean, 5.
Because
30,
the Republicans had a person that could do this.
So smart. But
they could do this. Had a candidate who could do this. Well, hold up. Got to go back. Hold up. Something happened. Hold up. Got to go back. But here it is. Okay, let me go back. They could do things like this to where, and see, and this is why, this is why the Democrats spent $3 million to beat me. This is why one Democrat PAC spent $303,000. I don't know why this keeps going like that. $303,000 to beat me.
At this point, but see, the thing about it, Jerome, at this point, it's not about you.
Nah.
It's about the fact that, see, I would say just move on from that, because what they're doing is they're just making fools of themselves. We already know what happened. We know it was ridiculous what happened to you. Now what they're doing is they're proving to the world how foolish they are. Every time we look at a picture with Elaine Luria, look at that. It's completely unified between minorities, whites, blacks, Asians, Hispanics, you name it. Conversely, when you look at Jen's, it's freaking lily white with a couple Sambos. And even if they're not Sambos, that's what people are going to think. Period. And they might not be. But the fact that they're not speaking the truth and helping these people understand that they're looking foolish with her is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous, man. She up in the church.
She up in my church. She up in our churches, man. Right? Our churches.
Yeah.
Pulling these people, because she's not gonna do anything for these people, man. It would have been easy to go in these churches and get these people on our side. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like every picture, man. It's like, and this is constant. This is constant.
Show Jens, man.
I think I'm gonna get to him in a minute, man. I gotta find them janks, man.
It's just crazy. And then when you talk about, all right, so that was the one piece with Jen, versus Luria. The other piece is Lucas, man. Lucas came to play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. She. See, here's the thing, right?
I gotta respect. I respect it, man.
She came at me one time.
Amen.
Right? She came at me one time. But like I told her, you got the right one. You got the right one. Hey, let's go, Mafia Queen. Let's go. Let's bring it. I can go with you. Just say when. Let's go, right? But now She just straight clowning these fools, man.
Yeah, she does
She
come off, man. She does come off. She
she
does come off, man. You know,
she is straight clowning these fools because they have no comeback. All right, later. See you later, Vic. I mean, because they have no comeback, right?
yeah.
And I mean, they can't play in the same ballpark as her. Like I told these people, you know, I could play in the same ballpark as an Elaine Luria, as a Louise Lucas, right? Bro, Elaine Luria is calling all the shots. She named the debate time, the debate schedule, the debate days, the debate, you know, location.
Ain't they supposed to be going to the NAACP to debate?
Something like that. I think so. NAACP, WTKR, or something like that. She might as well.
Don't even show up. Don't even show up. You already lost, yeah.
She says she's going to show up. All I know is that she says she's looking forward to these debates, and she's going to be there. She didn't come to none of mine. You know, she didn't, you know, except the one that was rigged. You know, she didn't come to none of ours except the one that was rigged for. But look, man.
I mean, look, man, when all your pictures are lily white, you're going to show up in the NAACP.
Everything we have played. Oh, Al, most definitely.
Yeah.
There are people, there are definitely people on both sides. Man, we call it the left, what we call it, man, we call it the false left-right paradigm. And we definitely have that. But now, you know, what we have is more people waking up to the false left-right paradigm, meaning the Democrats and the rhinos and these establishment rhinos. So definitely, you know, but now we have we have Republicans, and right now they're called MAGA Republicans, that don't buy the BS that the establishment Republicans are selling anymore. We're like our own faction. This is why Joe Biden in his speech specifically called out the MAGA Republicans. He didn't call out Republicans because he understands that there are establishment Republicans, we call them the uniparty now, that are playing where they play together and they play the people on both sides. Absolutely. Absolutely. But now this is why he called out specific MAGA Republicans, because we are not part of the go along, get along gang. We're not part of that bullshit. We're basically our own faction. And guess what? We're over 84 million strong. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. And the more people that join that, because the way the economy is, right? The more this rhetoric, you know, that they tell black people and don't do anything for black people, the more, you know, they send our hard-earned taxpayer dollars to countries like Ukraine and overseas and, you know, and all this nonsense. The people are waking up to that, and they're getting tired of that. So they're coming over, not to the Republican Party, but to this faction of the conservative party, okay, that's true to the game and not part of the go along, get along gang. We are the true America First party, the America First patriots. Now, with that said, there are some people that's playing America First that's not, and I've called them out. I called one of them out and she blocked me on Twitter. A fellow conservative, that's how I know she's a damn Democrat. That's how I know she's a fake Republican or a rhino, because how are you going to block another conservative that's just pointing out what he sees in you?
Right.
And she blocked me, right? So I know you're fake because we don't block people. We don't do that.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, she blocked you.
Yeah, man, she straight blocked me, man. Just because I said that she's a rhino, she's a Kevin McCarthy puppet, which she is, and she voted for amnesty. Her first vote in Congress, she voted for amnesty.
Which is actually illegal. She wasn't supposed to, you know, if you're an elected official, you're not supposed to be, you know, blocking. You know, you didn't say anything that was, you know, offensive, you know, like to denigrate or anything like that. Stating your opinion, you know. So
absolutely. Okay, so how do we tell the difference? You know, there's a put it like this. It's easy today. Okay, right now in these times, right now, it's easy to tell a rhino, if they're being honest, from a true America First candidate. You ask them a few questions, and here's the questions that you need to ask them. Okay. And this is how you know. And if you don't get a straight answer or an answer right away, you know they're a rhino and you know they're not America First and they're not a MAGA type person. Okay. So, and you can write these down if you want to. First, you ask them, was January 6th a insurrection? You ask them that. Was January, do they feel that January 6th was an insurrection? And do they feel that the political prisoners that's being held and their constitutional rights being violated for over 600 days or whatever it's been now, do they feel that they're being held unjustly? Those are the first two. Second and third, well, the third question you asked, was the 2020 election stolen? Do they feel that the November 3rd, 2020 election was stolen, or did America undergo a coup that day?
Right.
And then you ask them, would they support a Donald Trump presidency in 2024? And here's the answer that rhinos will give you. Well, I'm going to support whoever the nominee is. That's a rhino. Slap him in the head and tell him go on the hell on.
Mm-hmm.
If a person don't come out and say, I definitely support a Donald Trump presidency in 2024, they're not America First, and they're definitely not a MAGA. So those 5 questions right there, you'll be able to tell if they're a rhino or if they're an America First candidate. Simple America First person.
The thing about those questions is, if you're a wise person, right, you're going to weigh the evidence on both sides before you arrive at the answer. You know, because some of those questions you have to think about and then compare it to the law. You know what I mean? And when you really think about all those things, man, you know, Jerome was right. Yeah, I mean, how can you say that was an insurrection? How can you say that was an insurrection when what we witnessed for the 2 years prior to that were occupied cities like in Portland and
Chaz, the city of Chaz.
when you had representatives telling people to go out and burn things down and to cause havoc in the streets. And you know, so how can you call when you know that people were going to Washington to protest as a result of losing homes, businesses, the jab, the mask, all those things. You know what I mean? So my election, I felt like was stolen. There was some funny stuff happening in my election. I don't know how I lost in the last 30 minutes to 45 minutes, you know, when I had been leading, you know, all the way through. Why not on a grander scale? And what's the deal with all this electronic voting? Who trusts that? You know, so you know, and the other questions, they're just common sense answers. You know, what other candidates do we have out there that's going to look out for Americans first, better than Trump?
Protect the children. We can't protect anybody. If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
So who's the insurrectionist, man? You know, who's the insurrectionist?
There were worse things than that, though.
Oh, there was total worse things, but you brought up Maxine Waters, so I pulled that up. I mean,
I think she's actually said worse things than that. You know, pushing back can you know, in court you can argue that, but she said worse things than that, and so has her colleagues. You know, they've actually said get out there and burning stuff down. So that's the stuff that we're talking about. You know, nobody on the Republican side has ever said go out there and tear down the place or do whatever, you know. So you know, that's minor what we just witnessed, you know, again, you know, but there you go. I know this much. If I'm out there, If I'm
November.
up with my family, don't come up on me and my family.
Mm-mm.
Don't do that.
Basically.
Nope.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not gonna happen.
Don't do
But
that.
yeah, man. I mean, because they burned cities, man. I mean, come on, man. Antifa, they killed police. During these riots, over 35 people were murdered. Police officer Dawn was murdered. I'm doing these right, and they call January 6th an insurrection. So if they can't look you straight in your face, and tell you that January 6th was not an insurrection, I don't have any use for them, and I really don't have any use for them. And you say is the governor, Virginia governor, a rhino? Well, I believe he's a globalist. I mean, he's definitely a globalist. But I knew that when when he announced. I mean, he works for Carlyle Group. I mean, he's and you look and see who Carlyle Group is and who they are. He was the CEO of the group. Talk about ESG. Learn what ESG is. The Carlyle Group is huge in pushing ESG. He was part of that.
And here's the other thing about the governor. I believe that if we were able to be a fly on the wall, we would definitely see a back and forth between him and Winsome in regarding quote unquote CRT. And the reason why I'm saying it is not the racist element that Republicans want to run with. It's just a simple fact that because he worked for Carlyle and because it was such a huge thing legally for businesses, it's something that he's accustomed to working with. So to him, CRT is nothing. It's just par for the course insofar as working with it. Politically, it's another talking point. But if CRT happened, it wouldn't bother him.
What country you're from, Al? How is it possible? It's possible if you're talking about what we were referring to, and the media makes it all possible. The media is complicit in a lot of what's going on here, and a lot of the rhetoric and a lot of the projection that the Democrats do. Now, because most of I wouldn't even say most of 100% of everything the Democrats talk about that the Republicans do is projection from what they do and are doing or have done.
Yeah.
It's just total projection. And since they have control of the airways, of most of the airways, because most of the airwaves and the publications are, radical leftist, Marxist, communist outlets, they control the microphone.
Right.
And when you control the microphone and when you specialize, which the left does, which the CIA does, which the DOJ does, you have to understand that a lot of this is what they're saying is linguistic programming. And so when you say things enough over and over and over, this is where the CIA developed a program here called Operation Mockingbird. And every news outlet is saying it. Every politician on the left is saying it. Every talking head is saying it. Every newspaper is printing the exact same words to linguistically program a nation or a people to believe something that isn't true. That's how it's done. That's how countries are taken over because of this type of propaganda. And and Obama signed a bill to make propaganda in the media legal. Propaganda in the media was illegal to do until Obama made it legal.
You got to understand also, if you can control the language, then you can control the culture of any nation, any people. You can
control the message, the message in the language. Absolutely, Madison.
And the culture, just everything. If you want to learn a people, then you learn the language. You learn the language. Prime example is scripture, for example. If you want to truly learn scripture, then you'll learn Hebrew. And when you learn Hebrew, then you'll understand the culture better. Some of those meanings change quite a bit. a lot of the meanings change quite a bit, so yep, that's what it is.
So, but thanks for your questions, though, Al. Thanks for actually coming in, man, and being a part of this. Hope you come back every week, man. We're here every week, and we go up against Tucker, but we're going back on. Should go on Facebook as long as I'm not suspended again, going live. So we have more people involved with these get out. But share the video, hit the like button over there on YouTube, man. And come back every week and bring your friends, man. We talk about everything, right? I mean, we hit on everything. We may not, if you have a question or on anything, man, throw it out here. Like I said, to the panel, we give our best honest answer. This show is unedited, uncensored, unfiltered, and it's live, so what happens, like, it's live. I had to run out and grab some cheers. It was going to be a storm. I had to, hey man, y'all take over. I got to go for a minute, but it's live. That's what, things happen, so it's not edited. It's not recorded to where we can take things out, and anybody can watch it, and there's a lot of things going back to Youngkin. There's a lot of things is going to go back because he's positioning himself to run for president. It's already in the making for him to either be on a ticket in 2024 or be a presidential nomination in 2024. But here's what I'm going to tell people. And what's today's date? Today is September 7th. So it's a September 7th show, 2022. So we're going to mark this one, Madison, is that don't be surprised in 2024, not because Trump is going to be in prison and not because Trump is going to be, not able to run, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to keep Trump from being able to run. But don't be surprised if we see a Youngkin DeSantis ticket in 2024.
Well, that's I'll tell you what, that he's gonna have to shape it up because the way prices are in Virginia, I understand that you can't control everything, so they say. But
Man, okay. Well, welcome to the States, man. I don't know how long you've been here, but welcome to the United States. I mean, and it's not even really about that, Madison. It's about what I learned is this, man. You have enough money, you can control the message because you can control the airwaves.
Yeah, well,
people don't care. People get memory hold very, very easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not forgetting that. It's causing them harm.
I hope not. But right now it's Biden's fault. He doesn't have nothing to do with it. Right now it's Biden's fault, right? Because here's the Republican Party. The Republican Party is putting everything on Biden. All the people, whether you're Democrat or whatever, yeah, it's Biden. He's in the presidency. It's Biden. But people, have to understand, have to really do a deep dive on who Youngkin is. He's been to the World Economic Forum. He's been to Davos. He's part of the Klaus Schwab. He's part of, like I said, the Carlyle Group. He's on the Council of Foreign Relations. I'm like, okay. So, and what's happening now is this. He's going around and politicking and, for the never Trumper governors, basically, right? The never Trumper governors. DeSantis is going around and rallying and, politicking for the MAGA governors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what better way to get both sides at once is to have one guy that you want on the ticket and the other guy that you want on the ticket going to get both separate groups. And when you have those groups, some people love Youngkin. A whole lot of people love DeSantis.
Right.
So, and if you pull those governors together, those governors are going to work with the people. Those governors are going to work with those Republicans in their states to come on board. And if you have this ticket of DeSantis Youngkin, right? People are going to buy that. people are gonna buy that, man, and they're gonna buy that shit hook, line, and sinker. Because I mean, DeSantis is not all what he's cracked up to be. You'll find out more of that later. It's just some things that I know that I can't speak on right now. But this is what they're doing. The groundwork is being laid right now. So mark this September 7th, 2022. Don't be surprised if we get a Youngkin DeSantis ticket for 2024. And I said it first. Tucker ain't said this shit. Even though he'll come out and say it. I said it. You know, they always steal my stuff, man. You know, a couple years later, they steal my stuff. But you know, we're going to mark this one, you know, just like we marked that show back in March when they talk about the masking and we told everybody. But, you know, yeah, man. So I think we're in for some rough times, though, still before 2024 gets here. I don't even know if we'll have a 2024. I don't even know if we're going to have a 2022 election, to be honest, because that's where the Democrats are trying to push us to be able to call martial law and cancel the 2022 elections. I believe that's where they're trying to push us right now.
Well, there's that. You know, you got the American president getting up there talking about how there's going to be food shortages and all this other nonsense. I mean, for what? Why? For what? You know, there's no other reason why you would create catastrophes other than to try to maintain power.
Right. And people need to understand this is by design.
Yeah.
Because the sanctions, and here it is, man, right? The ruble, the Russian ruble has gone up against the dollar. And the euro and the dollar has fallen against the ruble, which means the sanctions are not hurting Putin. The sanctions are not hurting the Russians. The sanctions are hurting everyone else involved. Europe, the United States. These are what the sanctions are hurting. So if you are going to put sanctions on a country, why would you put sanctions on a country that hurt your own people?
Mm-hmm.
This is where we are. This is where we are in America.
Everything he's done has done nothing but hurt Americans. I can't think of any. Has there been anything that he has done that has actually helped Americans since he's been in?
I honestly can't think of one, to be honest.
I can't. Yeah.
And I would tell people this. You know, he's doing a lot of things for votes. You know, like the cancellation. You know, he's talking about he's going to cancel student loans. He really can't do that legally. I mean, but even Nancy Pelosi said that. But you know, I mean, that's
$10,000.
I mean, $10,000 ain't nothing to me. I mean, like I say, I would rather you do this. You know, I'd rather you cancel all the interest on the loans and all the interest that the people have paid on these loans, reverse it and put it on the principal and allow people to pay those loans back at zero interest. People would save a whole lot more money than damn $10,000. See, but people don't understand money, don't understand interest, and don't understand that all of these loans are front loaded with the interest first. And that's what people are paying. That's what they never pay it off. So.
I'm going to tell you like this, man. Since the conversation came up about loan forgiveness and you give billions of dollars to other countries, get them loans.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not talking about reversing nothing. I'm talking about.
I mean, if we're talking on that, you know,
and forgive Americans' loans. These are children.
Yeah, absolutely.
Forgive their loans.
I mean,
and everybody you're talking about, well, you know, I went to trade school. Good for you. All right, good for you. Happy for you. You know, you want a biscuit? We're not talking about you. We're talking about these people who were taken by these wolves, you know, in the education industry.
Well, my Jeep identifies as an MBA.
Your Jeep.
Push that then. But, you know, the reality is if you've given billions of dollars to these foreigners.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you there 100%, man.
Came up about loan forgiveness.
Yeah.
Then, because it wasn't the students who said They didn't bring it up. He did.
Like I said, that's why he's doing it for votes. And I agree with you 100%. If we're giving billions of dollars to, crap pack suckers like Ukraine and and Zelensky, who's not gonna pay the money back, then I'm with you absolutely, man. No doubt.
Yep.
Gentlemen,
hey, Don, I know it's about your bedtime, bro.
Man, it's about past my bedtime.
All right, man. We're good. So we about to end it anyway. Al and everybody that came in the show, we appreciate it. Alex, man. Hey, Alex, if you're still out there listening, brother, and you don't have a mic, Alex, there's a mic on your cell phone. There's a mic on your computer. So I'm gonna call bullshit on this one, but that's okay though. You're welcome to come in next week, Alex. You're welcome to come in anytime. You come on next week. Let us know you got your mic. I seen the link, and you can come on and let your voice be heard for the people because we welcome anybody into the Lions Den. So, we welcome you too, Alex.
Same bat channel.
Same bat time, same bat channel. Every Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Tell your friends, tell everybody. We should be streaming live back on Facebook next week unless they suspend me over the weekend after I just come off my suspension tomorrow. But I'm going to try to not to do anything to get suspended for the next week, or so we can roll. So, but that's going to be the new show. We're taking callers, and you're invited to the Lions Den. So come on in and let us know what you're thinking about next week. And until then, see you guys next week. Love y'all. Peace out.
Peace.